Hi everyone, so it's April 4th. Now, what am I going to be doing in this video? So, back in the day when it was just my hands, I would do those general videos where I would channel information and then I would tell you what it is. And maybe there are synchronicities in there, but it was mostly about just general stuff, right? And whatever I felt motivated to tell you at the time. So then it progressed into doing channeled videos where there was information that may have resonated with you specifically in your particular situation, right? So this is going to be a blend of both of those types of videos. Now, I have to point two things out. There's going to be someone that's watching this video. I'm seeing the color green. Okay, now you are going to be someone that's just watching this for entertainment and like background music, background sound, or just whatever, not really paying attention. And you need to know something. I'm seeing the number 13. I'm seeing the word magic, but I can't tell. There's these little packets in the Philippines. I mean, not in the Philippines, but Filipinos use them. It's like MSG. It's like, I think it's called Magsarap, and they're just little packets. And then we also have magic flakes, or not magic flakes, sky flakes. And I'm seeing that for some reason. So I don't know if it's because you're Asian or you're gonna be eating Asian or your foods or you're cooking, or because I'm seeing green, and then I feel something in like the back of my tongue. So I don't know if it's like bitter, like you're having like kale, like something that has like a bitter taste, but I keep hearing the word sponge, but I don't think you would be eating a sponge. So I don't know what's going on here. My mouth is bubbling. And did I say I saw the number 13? I'm seeing magic, 13, those other things, and green, and you're being addressed. For some reason you're being addressed. It almost feels like rain, and then they're reminding me of something that happened this morning. I woke up and I had the softest energy surrounding me, like so soft and delicate. And the way that spirit, okay, we'll get a little specific. So like guardian angels, passed away loved ones, other kinds of entities and angels, they all kind of feel different. And then also the way, whatever they're transmuting, like what, or translating, or I don't know what kind of information they're giving, also gives off a vibration. Unless it's a demonic entity, then it's like nothing. It's like flat and aggressive, and it can also come masking as like intense. But this was like very soft. How can I describe this? It would be like the sweetest, like when you think of like a grandmother with the curly pin hair curls, or I don't know what it's called, those little curls, and a kitty cat and warm cookies, like that kind of energy. And then like the light, like this, but a little bit more beaming through, you know, where it's like this soft light just pouring through the windows. Like that's how it felt. And it's connected to you. You could have had a very typical grandmammy that's so cutesy like that, coming through. Because I'm even noticing the vase that I have here, it's you know, like those tall vases, and there's the butterflies on it, and the birds, there's birds and butterflies. The birds look harsh, and a lot of the other butterflies look bold, but the one that I'm drawn to is very delicate and soft as well. So, and then I'm looking here because I took some decks out in case they resonated for me to pull, and I'm seeing this here, and it looks again very, very soft, and it's coming to touch this lady. If you want to know what this card is, this is self-forgiveness. Let go of old guilt and remember that you're God's perfect child. And that feels like that resonates. Maybe you have guilt over the passing. It feels like someone who's passed away, okay? So maybe you have guilt over not reconciling with them, or not saying your final goodbyes, or not being there more for them, or not answering. They're showing me a phone, but they're showing me like a phone, like an old phone. Kind of like the ones that are in the phone booth, like the black phone. And then they showed me 90s. We have accept heaven's help. You've prayed for help, so get out of the way and let heaven help you. Make a wish. This is a magical moment. Make a wish and enjoy its manifestation. So this person that's coming through, it definitely feels like, I wish I could get more specifics. I need to get more specifics with this particular person. So it's connected to someone on your father's side, okay? Or maybe your father has some sort of guilt connected to this, or maybe, yeah, there's something about your father. So they're connected somehow to your father. Okay, so this could very well likely be a grandmother energy, or like a step something or another, somewhere surrounding them. And the message is the biggest message is the self-forgiveness, because they're posing this as slavery. They're posing that what is happening with your father, or we're just going to say it for ease of purpose, is that they are enslaving themselves to the burden of guilt for something that they don't need to carry anymore. This person who's passed away loves, and I'm seeing love, respect, honor, and then I'm also seeing forgive, but there's nothing to forgive. So that word doesn't really resonate. It's like, I don't have anything to forgive you for, because there was nothing that happened that was wrong. And I'm seeing, I think I have a card that says this about like divine timing and like God's perfect timing. So it's about divine timing. And there's a feeling that this particular person, let's say it was your father, okay, did not see this person pass away. It's like if this person was hospitalized, or if they called for help or something, and they didn't make it to them by the time that they had passed away, they're saying, the person who's passed away is saying that it's okay. It's okay. It was in divine timing. And it's a feeling of not, in truth, it's like, I wouldn't have been able to verbalize this to you as a person. I can understand and verbalize it to you now as a spirit, but I wouldn't have wanted you to see me in that condition. I wouldn't have wanted you to, and I'm seeing a waterfall. So I don't know if there's a fall associated with this, because a waterfall makes me feel like, the way that it's showing me is like blocking. The waterfall feels like blocking energy. So it's like they're saying I wasn't doing it, but energetically, like there were guides that were blocking this from occurring for you to be there. So you don't have to blame yourself and say that there was more you could do, because it happened in the way that it was supposed to happen. So just because you had what you think was the ability to be there, there's a reason why you weren't. And I don't want you to feel sorry for me, or to feel bad about this, or to feel bad I don't want you to feel bad. there's nothing for me to forgive you for, because there was nothing that was wrong to begin with. It's supposed to have happened this way. So as soon as you accept that within you, then you can liberate yourself, because again, it's this enslavement. You've enslaved yourself to something that wasn't wrong to begin with. It's like you're wrongly persecuting yourself, and it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to carry this guilt over something that is only you. You're the only one there. But when I say that, there's like a trickling feeling. So it's like this person, like your father or someone, feels like maybe people are looking at them a certain way, or maybe they would have said something, or it's like, you know, in a way that I can explain it is like, let's say I'm your father and it's like, oh man, you know, I know they think that, you know, I should have done something different. I should have been there, or so-and-so said that, or whatever. It's like, that's the energy I'm getting. It's like they are not only blaming themselves, but they're putting words in people's minds or heads that they're saying they're projecting onto themselves. You get what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether that's happening or not. They don't know. Who's to say that they know? They know. They don't know. They're just talking about what they want to talk about. So they're wrong. And we accept heaven's help. You prayed for help, so get out of the way and let heaven help you. And look at all these little birds. It's like, it's not, it almost, I was going to say like a release, but these birds are like all scattered. In this picture, they're all scattered and they're all going everywhere. It's like this boundless energy, and it's the emphasis on boundless. It's not confined. And they're instructing me to point out that they're all, like, look, they're all congested in this area, but they're not bumping into each other. They're not bumping into each other. And it's an emphasis on we're fine. It's like there would be questions here too. Like this would lead you. If this would lead you, this would potentially lead your father. But it would be mostly you, and your father would not necessarily express this or even give the ability to think this, because there's a part of them that's going to hold on to this a little bit longer. But it's like, what about everyone else who is crossed over? You know, how's this all kind of going together? Are they okay? How do they kind of correlate and communicate with each other? Are they together? And it's like, everyone's fine. Everyone's fine. And it's this like silly energy, like kind of like laughter, silly energy, where it's like teasing, where it's like, you'll know in due time, so it's fine, like don't worry about it. It's like, or it's, I don't know if that necessarily is supposed to be like, because we all pass away eventually, or they're like, maybe like, it's like, it kind of feels like a trickle effect where it's gonna be revealed to you in a trickling form. So it's like you're gonna get the answers, and some of them you'll get as you're still alive. Like in a way that resonates with you, that's important for you, like on your journey, right? I'm noticing this tree, it looks like there's clementines or oranges in the tree, but they're bringing me, what does it mean? Good luck or fortune? I think during the Chinese New Year, look it up, about when you put the kumquats, you know, you anchor the doors and you have the little envelopes. Look into this. You must be there. You might be Oriental or Asian or whatever you want to call it. Because I'm getting these references, or there's some sort of reference, or maybe you like Asian culture. or I don't know what the connection here is with that. I just noticed that it's coming back again. This is an Asian vase. Anyway, I think even the vase itself is significant for some reason. It's connected to you. And it's not the details, it's just like the actual vase. It's like a tall vase. It's like, I don't even know how many feet that is. Like, it's over 4 feet tall. Like a floor vase. So maybe there's some sort of connection there, an inheritance of a vase. Maybe you are drawn to those types of vases. I don't know what that's insinuating here, but there's something to do with a vase. Or maybe an urn. It could be an urn. Maybe you have an urn somewhere. Yeah. So that's your message. Moving on. What were we talking about? So here's this other. Okay, hold on. I have to piggyback off of that because we talked about enslavement, and then they're talking about this generational wounding. There's a generational wounding, and this should resonate with a lot more people than that specific message. And they're connecting this to the 2 videos that I had just recorded, where I mentioned Egypt, and there's a connection there to the enslaved people of ancient Egypt, and how there's a trauma that's in the majority of souls, if not, it's all the souls to varying degrees. And then they're saying how like the higher entities that have never lowered to a frequency that is close to this dimension, so like archangels and all this kind of stuff, they have felt that by, it's a different thing from empathing. It's like almost, they like absorb our energy, like collectively absorb our energy to experience it that way. And so that's the way that they're experiencing it. However, what I'm speaking about here is there's this persecution wound, like wrongly persecuted, enslaved wound that we all share. They're showing me like religious persecution, so of witches, of the guy who got hanged for the Bible. They're showing me even just women, like oppressive wounding. And then they're bringing me specifically to African American slaves. So there's a direct correlation here to several people where there's some sort of slave wounding that is being healed in this life. And it feels, again, separate from you. It feels to the side of you. It feels like it's like you're witnessing this healing, or you're witnessing this, you're witnessing a healing, and in turn it somehow heals you, or it kind of awakens something in you that gives you strength. I'm hearing importance, something like that. They're bringing me to these 2 experiences that I have. So there's this one area that I've been really drawn to for years, and I would fall asleep on road trips. I would wake up every single time I was around this particular area. And you can go like 2 different ways around this area. No matter where we were going on either side, I would always wake up. So there's something energetically, I think, that was like drawing me to this area, because I would just start like wanting to stay. I would want to go in that area, and I would be like, I want to go in the woods. I want to go, I want to know what's in there. And I ended up finding a property there that was for sale, and a long story short, I found out that that was a old plantation site. And I didn't end up buying the property. But anyway, there was another place that I was really drawn to. This is the second part. There was another place I was super, super drawn to. And then I later found out, and this is super important for you, but because it's like, it's going to come out. This information is going to come out somehow. So like, maybe you're really drawn to, okay, let me tell you the story. So I was really drawn to this area, and I would tell people, I'm like, I know that there's something here. There's something going on here. And then found out, and this is like private information, but it's probably going to come public later, but the slave owners, they would dock their ships when it would come from the overseas at the beach, and then they would row the slaves down the rivers and auction them off right there at that site that I was drawn to. And so there's like something spiritually, that's what it feels like, it's a spiritual pull that doesn't quite make sense, or for some of you it is making sense, but there's something you're not totally grasping yet, because something needs to unfold first in order for it to kind of lock everything together, and then that'll finally make complete sense to you, and it feels like a healing, like it's like a complete healing of something with that wound. It also kind of feels like this might sound super weird, but I think not really. I don't know. I have no idea, but it's like, if you identify as, you don't even have to identify as a light worker, but like if you're just like, I have no idea, but that's it doesn't, you're pretty much a light worker. Okay, not pretty much, you're like some sort of light worker, and you being in these areas changes the vibration. It's like an exorcism in some ways, where it's like healing the area. You're healing the area, or you're like cleansing the area. You're like, it's like your vibration, it's weird. It's like your past life, some of you know this, okay? Some of you already know this, and this is, let's move on. Okay, no, let's, as in like, continue this. Your past life is connected somehow to particular areas or a particular skill. Let's say in your past life, you were a healer, you're a shaman or something, right? And so in this life, you've incarnated, but you have that soul DNA of a shaman in you. And so you've incarnated as like a regular person, and you're going to these areas, and what it's doing energetically is lightening the area. It's lightening it. It's illuminating it. I'm not saying that there's like ghosts or anything in these areas that are like torn souls, but it's like cleansing the area. And I want to say something, but I can't say it. I'm not, because it's like private information. But how can I explain what it's like? We'll make an example. If like in the first example I gave you, where I really wanted this property, if you felt something similar, you're like, oh yeah, and then you bought the property, and now, oh, this is a really good example. There's an actual story where there's this guy, a black guy, and he went and he bought a house, and then he found out that it was an old plantation, and it's like his ancestors were enslaved there. It's like that, where obviously like that's his his DNA, right? Like his human DNA, right? Of like his ancestral linkage, right? But he is more than just that identity. He is a soul separate from that identity, right? He's more than just that identity. And so he incarnated into this body and has in some ways healed that, because do you see how like the power has shifted in that? And so it's something like that in essence of what you were doing. And that's being highlighted here. There's importance here. Next subject is, okay, this month, for anyone who's into astrology, I have no idea about astrology, but there's something very important this month and this year, okay? It's like, it's not just every April or every April. It's April 4th to the 20th. April 22, 23, 24, 25. It's like the vast majority of April. There's something astrologically that is rare or unique or important. I mean, and important. It's either rare or unique in the sense that it doesn't happen. It would happen like every 5 years or something like that. Like it's like not that forever long ago, but then there's something rare that's happening this month as well. Astrologically speaking, there's going to be something in the sky that's going to happen or is happening that is rare. Okay. And they're instructing you to pay attention to this, take note of this. And also, if you feel a compulsion, okay, let me just interject here because I talked about this. It's probably come off offensively. I mean it in like a little, I'm being a little silly with the way that I say it, but this is true that there are people out there, because I've heard stories about this, where it's like you might have some sort of mental condition and then you start listening to these psychics on here, you know, and then you stop taking your medication and then you have a psychotic break or something. So a lot of this stuff could be potentially triggering if you have actual issues. So just watch or beware, okay? And I don't mean this in like crazy terms of just, again, if you want to star bathe, you know, go out there and shine your body on the stars. That's not that crazy in my opinion. That's not that crazy. Go to, I was gonna say go to the beach, but you have to go to like a private beach now because people use those freaking super bright lights, you know, that kill the sea turtles and their babies and scare the birds, the night birds and everything that are resting out there. But anyway, so there's going to be this compulsion for you potentially to travel somewhere. It's like spiritually, like it's like, I want to go to this particular area. I feel drawn to this area to have my own like spiritual retreat, like a come to Jesus moment, or just like be by myself or go to some sort of event. And it feels impulsive, but right. Like it just sits right with you. And so it's being encouraged to follow that this month. Go towards that, experience that, do that, take a trip somewhere that you feel you are supposed to be doing. And this could also just be something as minor. It's not minor, but it's that minor shift. It's like you've never sunned your butthole and now you want to do that, you know. I don't know what that's called, but I know there's like a term that people do that. I don't do that. If you do, that's awesome. I'm judging you, but in a good way. I think that's funny and that's cool and probably has some really good benefits. So there's that. There's information there about that. And then there's another message that's coming through where they're saying how this is kind of seeing it by example from me. It's like what I'm about to say about me should have a synchronicity with you, where I spiritually made the commitment that I would do what I feel called to do, you know, spiritually speaking. I don't want to interject with my rationality or my practicality to the point that it interferes with the message, and to continuously practice that, because that is a struggle that I've had when it comes to spirituality, is consistently doing those kinds of things, overanalyzing and whatnot. Obviously, you should have some critical thinking involved in this, but there has to come a point where there's a balance in it, right? And so I basically want to step out of my own way, right? And so I recorded those 2 videos yesterday that I was gonna post them today. And then I started thinking, I'm like, well, I have a celebrity reading that I'm posting on Wednesday, so I don't want to do it. I don't want to bombard people with a bunch of videos. I like it when other people do it, but I find it very annoying that I do it for some reason. And if I were to have a moment to analyze that and reflect on that, it would probably root back to fear, right? It's like, I don't want to be an annoyance or a pester or whatever, like kinds of things. And so that is already showing a lower vibration as to the reason why, when in truth, if spirit is delivering a message and is telling me of when I should be delivering the message, then that's my commitment that I've made to follow through with it. And so I have to continuously do that, or believe in my, you get what I'm saying? So they're showing me how spirit has worked its way, in the sense that it has given me this extra space to post this video, but I still need to continue to follow through and post those 2 this week. It's an importance to this week for people. Now, are they timeless channeled messages? More than likely, but it's very important for someone this week to hear those messages, so I have to get them out for them, because that's what's being instructed, that's what's being told. And so where are you potentially getting in your own way when it comes to you knowing that you need to take action on something, or you need to do something, but fear is getting in your way, and you're making an excuse by adhering to some sort of practical criteria that doesn't even feel right for you? You know, like me waiting, it doesn't actually feel right. It's just, I made that, you know, in my head of, I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to, kind of thing. You know, it doesn't actually like do anything like constructive. Okay, so that's the other note. So I wrote a couple things down that I feel is important to address here, and it's all kind of sloppy, so bear with me. I'm gonna pick a card and then pause the video for a moment, and then I'll be back. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so the card that's been selected says longing for home, homesick for the stars. And the stars is significant here. It's something to do astrologically speaking, and that's what I was gonna say. Actually, I don't think I said it, where when you feel drawn to travel somewhere, it feels like a spiritual calling, and it's something to do with it's something to do with the energy grid of this area, and also with the constellations, like the stars alignment for this particular time. And it shouldn't feel, I mean, it could feel planned for someone, but it would feel destined. Like it's almost as if, okay, here's an example. It's like you couldn't get away from this kind of thing. It's like, let's say that you look up astrological month of April 2023, and then you look for like something specific that's happening, and you're like, okay, I don't feel it, but I'm going to travel during then, and I'm going to go to most high frequency area in the world, and then you go there and it's like you didn't actually feel anything connected to that. It's like spirit has a way of bringing you there, right? So even though consciously you had planned it on like a bigger scale, it has brought you there in a way that is resonant with you and the way that you operate in order for something to happen at that time in that area. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you can't really outsmart. You're not trying to outsmart, but you get what I'm saying? So there's something to do with the stars that's very important here. And then I just saw an eyeball, and then I saw the two squigglies like that. I don't know what astrological zodiac sign that is. I want to say it's Aquarius because I heard Aquarius in her eyes. There was an eye with little squigglies and Aquarius in her eyes. And it has something to do with like, it's like your soul family, spiritual soul family. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because I'm like, this is like wild. It's like your spiritual soul family from, look, I don't know where, maybe you know where. I mean, on some level you would, but like right now, do you know? Or it's like where follow Aquarius, and it's like, it's to the left. It's like, here's whatever. Okay, let's look at the stars. And here's like here's Aquarius, wherever that's at. And then there's a constellation to the upper left and beyond. It's like right beyond it. And there's something there that's connected to you. And that's what you need to know. And it's like you're reaching for it. You're looking at it, or you're wanting this, you know, the longing for home. It feels like connecting this month, like a portal. There's something really important happening this month, okay? Like super important, astrologically speaking. Super, super, super important. And we're gonna leave it at that. Because I really don't know. I'm gonna try and look it up, but I don't know if I will. I might forget, but I'll try to. Or if you know, I would love to know myself. Okay. So I wrote down a couple things, right, that I needed to go over with you. And this is a continuation of the 2 videos that are going to be released tomorrow and the day after, which I wrote down the importance of healing in a twin flame / soulmate connection. And the rising vibration of all. So the importance of healing in a twin flame connection, which I have videos on that you can go into to see how I recognize and identify twin flames, which is the journey of the soulmate, the union of a soulmate. And essentially what that is reframing the importance of your connection with spirit by sorry, I'm being interrupted. Okay, Archangel Metatron is important here. Archangel Metatron. And if you've been interested in sacred geometry, if that's something that you've been drawn to lately, then this is extra confirmation for you to continue doing that. Or if you feel called after me saying this, then look into it. Something's going to be revealed to you this month that is important for you on this, it's like on your journey, your soulmate journey, your twin flame journey, whichever one you're in right now. Sorry, it's my low battery. So hopefully it was still recording then. Something's being revealed to you spiritually this month that you need to be aware of, or you need to take note of. Okay. So this is what I need to explain here, is that God's plan is not a path of pain, isolation, long suffering. It's a path of choice. It's a path of free will, right? It's a path of love, trust, faith, and feeling all of this unconditionally, right? And this is all emulated in the soulmate relationship, right? The twin flame relationship, right? The soul's plan, our plan as souls, is that which is of long suffering. And that's in order to understand each other and to heal and to make amends with one another. That's how we grow, right? God is not placing obstacles and pain in our path. We are doing that ourselves in order to understand how that reflects in other people's lives, or what kind of consequences happen if we are harming one another, right? It's bringing any sort of dark energy from our free will in order for us to purify ourselves and then emulate eventually when we get back to the soulmate relationship. So through the twin flame journey is that practice, right? We end up going back into being a more spiritual person, not just in our relationship with our lover or our twin flame or our soulmate, but also with our surroundings. We start viewing things in a more spiritual sense of patience, love, understanding, kindness, trust, faith, unconditionally. And so that is that emulation of spirit through us that is the ultimate purpose of our soulmate, right? So, and that is a reflection of how we are towards ourselves. So it's like, I forgive me, I love me, I honor me. And in those ways, I can project that towards my environment, right? And so what we're coming into is this time of the soulmate union. Now, I mentioned in my other videos, there's a massive connection and recognition of soulmates. Who are soulmates is our twin flames that will take lifetimes for some people, and a lot of people are at the end of the twin flame journey to reunite fully with the soulmate. Now, a lot of them are going to be uniting in a sexual manner that's going to create babies through that purified portal. That's not to say if you're gay that you can't be with your soulmate, or if you cannot have babies that you're not truly with your soulmate. Just that act alone of uniting in that purified form of unconditional love, you see those relationships that inspire people. They don't have to have children, but it's like that alone energetically transforms people. That transforms people just from witnessing that. Like, people love love. At our core, that is something that we all are, and that we all crave, and that we all desire, because that is who we are in essence. And so that needs to be mentioned here, because as I talk about later, there's this onslaught of demonic attack to separate the twin flame journey, or to confuse the twin flame journey, or to separate the soulmates and confuse the soulmates. And it's an attempt to do that. But the more purified people are, or energetically the uniting happens, it cannot, evil will never be able to truly defeat the light. It can never defeat the light, because it's powerless. It's actually nothing. That's why they need the power of others. They need to manipulate others. That's why these people who are recruiting mediums and psychics and training people, lost people, is because and manipulating people and seducing them to do all kinds of wicked and crooked and confusing spiritual work, is because they're trying to infiltrate and twist that, right? And when I talk about in my other videos that are coming out about the corruption of famous mediums, it is because it's through a publicist that regulation happens, and sometimes it's often self-regulation, so that you can be famous, so that you can be well-liked, so that you can be popular. And so you're regulating what the message is that's coming through, and you don't know who's under demonic control with that. And if you're self-regulating with that, then that true essence isn't being projected out, right? And so this is all being pointed out here because there's this feeling that I get of two differing energies here. It's almost as if how this resonates with you is that destructuring of reality. It's kind of what it feels like, is a dismantling of reality, destruction of reality, and like the truth being revealed to you, like the truth of like spirit being revealed to you, and the truth of why you're here being revealed to you, the truth of what you want is being revealed to you, and it's different from what you wanted before. It's changing, it's shifting. And there's also this feeling of recognizing and realizing when there are energies outside of you that are celebrating this feeling of you being trapped. And so it's having this new perspective that's being ushered in through your guardian angels during this time that liberate you from this entrapment. It's some sort of an entrapment, this spiritual entrapment. And so this homesickness, this longing, is because you're, again, it's this area that I talked about. Area. There's somewhere that's like Lyra? Is that a constellation? I'm seeing that for some reason. And then they're bringing up again how this experience, the soul's experience and God's purpose is one of love. Like we'll call it he, but God loves unconditionally. God trusts unconditionally. God gives the choice because God knows that there's like God has faith. God has understanding, full understanding that this process that we're experiencing, that we're doing unto each other and unto ourselves, is going to ultimately reside once again in uniting with spirit, full understanding and vulnerability and nakedness of, they're pointing that out too. When you see your soulmate, or I'll talk with my experience, you'll see in the other videos, there's something I didn't mention, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. We'll get there. We'll get there in due time, I guess. It doesn't matter. So did you have a question here that you were thinking? Hopefully it wasn't a naughty question, but the answer potentially is yes, potentially, because it was a naughty, then I don't know, maybe it's a no. But it says your intuition is correct. Take action accordingly. Bless change. A major life change brings you great blessings, tranquility, and self-forgiveness. Okay, the tranquility and self-forgiveness is giving yourself some time to ease up on any sort of energy robbers, right? All of that blame, all of that fear, all of that control that you may be placing on yourself needs to be released so that you can move more at easy, and it'll be a tranquil feeling. This is related to those other videos as well, so if you feel that those have any sort of resonance here, then that's going to be important here. And something else that I'm noticing is the little clamshell down here. Its mouth is shut, but it's bubbling. And this little girl, this mermaid, so happy, cheerful. She's so cute. She's just having fun. And there's light shining behind. And what it feels like to me is I'm seeing a chess piece. And so it's like the chess pieces are moving. And they're showing me, it's like this like Sicilian technique of chess. But that's what I'm seeing is like you're masterful without even recognizing it and realizing it. And there's going to be something that once again is being revealed to you with a clam. It's going to open up and it's going to tell you something, and you're already going to be in a good mood when this happens. And so when it opens up and it tells you something, it's like, how did you get even happier? It's going to make you like, it feels like a roaring laughter. It's like you're already jumping, playing, and then something funny happens. It's not funny, it's something very good. And then you're like, ha 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 ha. Like that, like, what next? Everything's like good. Everything's good. Okay. And that's what I see. Look at this. So we have the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Cups. I'm gonna rush because I don't know if my phone's about to die. And this is planning. This is what I see with the chess pieces. Like you're masterful with your plans without even recognize it, right? You think one thing, like I talked about, you think you're so sneaky going off and planning this astrological trip, when in reality, it's like your higher self and guardian angels have already designated. They're like, we knew you before you even knew what you were doing. And it ends up actually panning out with everything happily ever after. And they're pointing the Ten of Cups and then conjoining it with the Ten of Pentacles. It's like completion over completion over completion. Oh, the third one. I was looking at these two cards and I said it's the third one. Keep going, it's the third one. And we have Archangel Sandalphon, which came out in the other ones. And I was thinking Archangel Metatron before. So I heard Archangel Metatron, they pointed me here, and then they told me to pick the third card. So Metatron and Sandalphon are important, significantly important here. It says your prayers have been heard and answered, have faith. So this is just constant confirmation here for you, constant. And I'll take back the naughtiness. If it was naughty, go on and be naughty, okay? A good naughty, though. And so that's what I see. That's what's going on here. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.